Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Cynthia Bednar, and welcome to Cynful Connections, where I have the pleasure of sharing conscious, loving conversations with all the beautiful souls I've been blessed to know throughout my life. Let's get started. Thank you for joining us today. Today I have Ricardo Gonzales, who I met about a year and a half ago. I see Ricardo as one of the most beautiful gifts I received from that experience. It's just the gift that keeps on giving for me. So thank you, Ricardo, for joining us today.
No
Um,
problems at all,
yeah,
Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And I know we're going to have a great conversation on the show.
yeah, it's like we started off by potentially doing that live, and I was telling my daughter that if I was going to do a live for the first time, Ricardo would be the one that I would want to do that live with because I know that we would be guided and protected, and it would just be a divine conversation that I didn't have to be nervous about.
That's
Uh,
true.
so,
Like I said, we're going to have a good one. And yes, you're very right. I think that we're very well protected. We're going to move forward and we're going to have some really good talk here.
mhm. So I want to jump right in. I'm curious about when and how you started to feel your psychic gifts come in, and what was that like as a child? Before we even dive into your current reality, I'd love to know about 7-year-old Ricardo and what did that feel like in those
Well,
relationships?
let me tell you something. It was very interesting. And I was driving my parents up the wall. I am gifted. I am a professional psychic. And I have been seeing spirits, guides, things in that manner ever since I was about 9 years old. When I was growing up, I always saw something in the house. And in the house, the only people in there was my mom, my dad, and myself. So we would sit in the living room, watch TV in the evening times, just like a lot of people would do. But I was always hop out and I would always tell mom and dad, there's somebody in the house.
Mm,
And mom and dad would look at each other going, huh? We know very well where it's just us. So my dad would walk around the house trying to beat somebody up because I kept on seeing people there. And they couldn't understand why. So it became a routine. It didn't happen all the time, but it became a routine. I would say, oh my God, there's somebody in the house. And mom and dad will hop up and try to figure out, see what it is, but there's nobody there. Well,
mm,
as I became older, now I'm at about the age of 9, 10, maybe 11 o'clock, 11 years old. I kept on saying that. And my mom and dad got to a point where, yeah, okay, whatever. They couldn't understand themselves. So as I became mature and older, I said, there's something going on with me. And that's the way that I saw it at the time. There's something going on with me. I
mhm,
decided as I became 15, 16, 17 that I had to study whatever this was because I would walk around paranoid because I always saw, felt, I didn't feel at ease. I didn't understand. I
mhm,
just didn't understand. It was so funny because I started working downtown where I'm from. I'm from West Texas. I'm from Abilene, Texas. And I worked in a local bank in the downtown city. And there will be a public library maybe about 2 blocks away from the actual bank that I worked in. So I would walk after work and I would walk over there to see if I could study and learn and see what this is about. At that time, back in the 80s, going into 90s, they had a section in the library called cult. So that's the way that they called it. They called it
mhm,
cult. I decided to spend my evenings there. And I would literally spend Monday to Friday after work, go to the public library, and I would sit there and study cult. Well, one day there was a book in there about paranormal. And I pulled
mm,
the book out. And right when I pulled the book out, popped out a business card. It had a woman's name. Her name was Sarah. And it had a phone number. I did what I felt at that moment in time. And I ran to the phone booth. I don't know if anybody remembers phone booths. So I had to find a quarter, put the quarter into the phone booth and I dialed the phone number. And the woman answered. And we started having a conversation. And she goes, why are you calling me? I said, I found your number in a book at the public library. And I wanted to see what you're about. And she goes, oh, so you're one of those. And I said, what do you mean by that? She goes, you must have the gift. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. What do you mean
mm,
by We had a nice conversation, and she invited me to a meeting that she held in her home. And I decided to go. So I went to this meeting on a Friday night, and two-story Victorian, beautiful home up in West Texas, beautiful yard, beautiful everything. So
Mm.
there was a lot of cars around. I didn't know what this was about. So I knocked at the door. And when I knocked at the door, they opened the door. And there must have been about 30 or 40 people, and all of them were staring at me. And I was looking around, what did I get myself involved in? And back then, you really didn't worry much, like not like
Mm.
nowadays. So I walked in and she said, "Hi, I'm Sarah. You must be Ricardo." And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Welcome to the metaphysical life." And of
Mm.
course, it's mind boggling. I met psychics, mediums, Reiki healers, practitioners, shamans, curers, spiritualists. The list goes on and on. I felt so comfortable in that meeting and in the room that I
Mm.
went on for a solid year. Every Friday night, I was at this meeting. And we talked about beings and UFOs and how to talk to the other side. And it was just so enthusiastic to me. I just couldn't believe it. Of course, working in a bank, I couldn't tell nobody my secret. I would go tell my mom about it, and she goes, "You're dealing with a bunch of crazy people." That's how she described it.
Mm.
So I got to the point where, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody about my secret. So I
Mm.
would spend my days doing the banking thing and my nights doing my metaphysical. And I went on with it. Now, it was so funny because during that time period, I'm 18, 19, I'm going for a computer science degree. So I went and registered in a local school because this is what people wanted me to do. Literally, I was working 50, 16, 18-hour days just to get from the bank to the school to these meetings.
Mm.
And I said, I kept on going. I did graduate with a bachelor's in computer science, but I kept on doing this work, or what they call
Mm.
the spiritual work at the time. I made the decision to move out of the city that I lived in, and I moved to Austin, Texas. This was February 1st, 1987. And I moved
Mm.
to the city at that moment in time. I remember that day because it was snowing here in Austin, Texas. So I
Mm.
can't forget that. It was a real deep snow. So I had to find another group. I had to find a group. So I decided to do some investigation in this city. And
Mhm.
lo and behold, I found so many people in this arena that I was just so amazed by what I saw. Well, I decided to continue my education in metaphysics, and I graduated with a bachelor's in metaphysical science. And I really were embedded in this. And the best gift that I got and received during this whole entire time that I was learning about this was being more and more in tune, or more and more psychic. And I couldn't let that go because it was getting to the point where I was thinking I would go to the grocery store and I would stand right beside somebody and I knew what their life was about. Or I would go to a meeting or a staff meeting because I did continue my computer life. It has to pay the bills. So I would be at the office with my boss or coworkers, and I would know exactly what was going on in their lives. They didn't have to open their mouth. So as time progresses, I said, "This is driving me bonkers. I've got to do more about this." So I developed more of being an actual psychic. I learned more about what needed to be done. I had about 80% of my gift was there. I just need to incorporate it into my life. So I left my computer life and I went into my metaphysical life, and I have
Mm.
not turned back since. And I love this world. And this is my story, where I come from and how I came to where I am. It is a gift. It is given to me by God. It is attunement. I can go into a room, I can go to an office, I could go to the grocery store, and I can really feel and sense what people are doing and what they're thinking. I have helped hundreds of people. Right now, I'm averaging about 2,500 people a year. Last month, in April 2024, I had 477 people that came through my door for some kind of help or psychic work or something along that line. I really love it. I would not do anything else in my life. And I want to continue this process. And I think I'm going to be embedded with this for the rest of my life. And this is where I'm at right now at this moment in time. And I see you all. People, when I say that to people, they laugh at me and they go, "What do you mean by that?" But I do see quite a bit of things, and I've enjoyed this gift, and I really have helped hundreds of people in a lot
Mm,
of the process of going forward in their lives or trying to figure out something about what's going on. And
mm,
yes, I do speak to the dead. Trust me, they come to me in the
mm.
middle of the day or the middle of the night. So I'm always, it's so funny. People laugh at me because I'm sitting here in my living room by myself, but I'm having a good conversation. And people go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm speaking to this person. It's sitting right beside me. Don't you see them?" And, people laugh at me, go, "No, there's nobody on the couch with you." I said, "Yes, there is. Can't you see them?" It's really fascinating. And I love this world. I've studied many levels, many things. I have traveled. I spent 30 days with the voodoo queen in New Orleans. I've been up in the mountains in New Mexico. I've been to West Texas. I've been to cauldrons. I have worked in the backwoods of Louisiana and the swamps, California up into the high mountains, and really try to connect in that way. I've been to Sedona, and I helped on the meditation in Sedona and also in Washington, D.C. So that was real fascinating. I have done work for a lot of people. I know quite a bit of people in this arena, and I've seen all levels. So I'm at the point now where nothing surprises me because I've
Mm,
seen it all, seen quite a bit of things. And I've spoke with some great masters. I've gotten some great mentors in my life, and they have helped me to intune myself and become sharper and stronger. And I have been in meetings like you would not believe. So it's a very fascinating life, and it really is cool once you understand the concept and once you understand what the provision is and why you're given the gift. And this gift comes from God. A lot of people argue with me saying that it's not, but I said no.
mm,
God is the one who assigns us. And the reason I say that is because we have over 8 billion people in the world. So God needs a little help to get some help. So he sends earth angels, which is us, the practitioners, the doers, the sayers, the shamans, the Reiki healers, the psychics, the mediums, anybody in this area, because we're helping because of
mm,
so much hurt and pain that's going on in the world. So much
mm,
how we've been incorporated and given these gifts in order for us to help as much as we can. And that is our
mm,
duty as we go along with Mother Earth.
mhm. Oh,
No.
yeah. I reflect on our first conversation, Ricardo. I was
Mhm,
still working in corporate America, and I remember you telling me that you started in the IT space.
mhm,
And I also was in an IT role for 25 years. And so to hear this person who was about to give me a reading show that, like, you started in this complete mainstream world that I was currently in and made the leap to choose to seek this path that we both feel in our hearts.
mhm,
It was just a very quick, like, activation for me as a
mhm,
person. And it
mhm,
was our first, like, 3 minutes of the phone call.
mhm,
And I just have to say this to anyone who's listening. If you are actually looking to understand the trajectory of your life, have a call with Ricardo because every single thing that you have told me, even things that I was like, no, not really. I don't really see myself writing a textbook. What? I wrote a textbook. Yeah. And it just organically happened, and I forgot that seed that you had planted, but those are things that you said to me 2 years ago, so I have a lot of fun going back and reflecting on my notes and
mhm.
seeing where did I feel alignment, and where did Ricardo say this and that and this and that, and it's just astounding to me. I know I send you messages all the time, "Hey, remember you said this? You were right," and you're like, "Yeah, I know." So
Yes, yes,
it's just like yes, if anyone questions the connection that you receive through God, it's that's how you have this knowing. course.
That's true. That's true. It's so
Yeah.
fascinating, and I'm glad you're bringing that up, Cynthia, because people do ask me a lot, like, "How do you connect? How does that hurt happen,
Mm,
or what do you do?" And I said, "It's just, it's a feeling, it's
mm,
a sense that comes through me, and
mm,
it's I can sit here by myself and ask a question, and I verbally say the question, but then within a couple of minutes, I feel the sense, and it's like a whisper, a soft whisper that comes to me. And what I
mm,
do is I have learned to listen to that soft whisper, whether it's for me or somebody else. Now,
mm,
it rapidly comes through because I'm very well connected. Keep in mind, everybody, that spirit works at 4,700 miles per hour. That's how quick.
mm,
So spirit is just constantly connecting with you around the clock, 24
mm,
hours a day, 7 days a week. So whenever people ask me a question, I actually really ask the universe, is I'm a connector. It's like when you plug in your radio or your television in the wall socket. I'm that connector. And what
mm,
happens is I connect to the universe. I have learned to do, and I connect to the universe, and I ask the universe on a mental, emotional level, hey, what about this? And what about that? And because of that connection that I have with them, the answer comes to me very quick. I get it within 5, 10, 20 seconds at the most. And they tell me. And it's like a soft whisper, a soft talk that actually comes through. And as soon as I go into that process and that level, all of a sudden things come in that natural form. So it's like somebody whispers something in one ear and then it goes through my mind and then I spit it out or I say it because what I'm hearing. And they're the ones who are guiding me and letting me know this is what you need to say. This is how
mm,
you need to say it. So I do. And it constantly happens to me day by day, week by week, hour by hour, every 5 minutes or so. I'm always constantly in that connection. And that's how I get this information that everybody always comes and seeks with me. And they
mhm,
always look and see what I'm saying and what I'm not saying and what it's doing.
mhm,
So it's just constant information bombarded that I get every single day. I could stand by you for about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and all of a sudden this connection comes through me. It's like we're a one. And during that time
mhm,
period, your soul is connecting to me and talking to me. And then
mm,
I'm giving you a verbal about what they're saying. And then
mm,
I give you the information that needs to be done. And it's real soft, it's tender, it's not loud or screaming. And yes, they do scream at me at times, but it's because
mhm,
I'm not pushing the information through. I'm not saying it.
mm,
They're literally going, you need to say this, you need to say this. How come
mm,
you haven't say it? You need to say it. So then I sit there and I go, okay, that's true. I need to say it. And as soon as I say that piece of information, whatever it is, then that goes away. And then something else comes through. But it's like
mm,
a soft whisper. You ask me a question, the soft whisper comes into my mind, and then I say exactly what needs to be said. No, it
mm,
does not come from me. No, I do not think about it and say this is what I my thoughts are. No, it's just an actual connection. It's a vibrational pull. It's a sensation that I receive. And I work with that sensation that I receive and I deliver the information. And then once
mhm,
I deliver that information, then it goes on to the next thing. Keep in
mm,
mind, everybody, and something I have learned that spirit travels at the speed of 4,700 miles per hour. So it's constantly there. And even if you're not thinking about spirit, let's say you're making lunch, let's say you're watching television, let's say you're talking to your partner, the spirit is still working. You're petting your animal, your pet, you're visiting with a neighbor or a friend or maybe a relative. The spirit is still working. So it's just constantly traveling back and forth. There's a theory that we have in metaphysics that you're never alone. And the reason
mm,
you're never alone because they're constantly watching you because it's something that is there for you in so many ways and so many levels. So that's something that you have to watch as time progresses. So it's
mhm,
really fascinating whenever you do this process and what you do. But it's just a soft whisper. Everybody, everybody who's listening in the audience, every friend, every
mhm,
companion, every coworker, every even if you go to the grocery person, has this skill But the thing is, some people develop it well and some people don't. But it's there for you. It's there
Mhm.
for you. So we all have that skill, that ingenuity of actually connecting. But some of us
Mhm.
have learned to be a little bit more sharper with the information, and some have not. So
Mhm.
bear with it and just listen. I promise you,
Mhm.
if you listen to Mother Earth and the universal vibrations and all that around you, you're gonna get exactly what you actually want.
Mhm. Can you hear Oreo in the background? My
No,
my
your
cat?
cat.
Yeah,
I saw
Oreo,
a
come here.
cat pass by.
Yeah, he's being very vocal right now, so he agrees. I think that's his aho for sure.
Correct. He's receiving the message.
He's receiving the message. That's right. I'd like to talk about how our relationship has evolved for us. So it started off as I was referred to you as an extraordinary psychic reader.
There's your
And
cat.
so we started off in the reading world, but truly, you have represented one of the strongest, safest places for me to learn what metaphysical really means. That's a broad, ambiguous statement, and it involves a lot of things that you've educated us on. And also just the mentorship and friendship that you have provided to me. And as I've been learning and tapping into my gifts, it's our relationship that has created the confidence and the validation and really just your patience with my journey of believing in the voice that we both hear. It's been very helpful for me and my development path. For the audience, can you take a step back and define what metaphysical means to you
Sure.
beyond the psychic gifts that you've just talked about?
Sure.
Mm.
Anybody who's in this arena, if you're a psychic, a medium, a Reiki healer, a Reiki master, if you're a spiritualist, if you're a herbalist, if you're doing any kind of work this way, this fits under the umbrella of metaphysics. Metaphysics is basically a spiritual tool that generates for people who want to define themselves on a upper universal and spiritual life. This is not a new wave thing. This has been going on for hundreds of years. And what people have done throughout their lives and through generations is they have learned to develop these skills. And they develop the skills is because people are becoming stronger. They're really starting to incorporate this in their personal life and also their business life. Now, if you want to go back centuries, this has been around since Cleopatra has been around, or when
Mm.
God was there, or when the spirits were there. This has been followed by a lot of religion rites because they know very well that spirituality is the connector to the unknown. And what we have done as time progresses is develop these skills so we can become stronger. Everybody, that even the cat, even the dog, they all have this skill. Metaphysics is a way for you to unite on a universal law, on a spiritual law, on a self being. That's
Mm.
what it is. So anything that you do, anything that you decide to do, anything that you want to do is done universally or spiritually. Whether it's something that's grabbing a cup of tea for yourself, or maybe making a big purchase, or maybe you decide that you want to go clear across the world for some reason. It is all spiritual based.
Mm.
Spirits works under the field of metaphysics. This is a termination that we use in order for us to understand what's really this is about. And everybody who's listening, every person that you know, every relative, every friend, every companion, every even the person that you see at the grocery store or at the when you fill up gas in the car or vehicle or you decide to go buy a pizza. This is all done on a metaphysical law. And this is a law that's been going on for hundreds of years. It is not a new thing. The thing that I've noticed though, as we move into this year and the coming years, it's becoming more in tune and people are more accepting than what they did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And now
Mhm.
it's so accepted. The new generation is so accepting of this that they're really embracing it in so many levels. And the mature people, we are learning and exploring and we are moving forward because we know very well that it's there for us in order for us to use whatever it is. Again, metaphysics is about understanding the universal law and the spiritual law in order for you to encounter yourself, in order for you to move to what you think that is right for you. That's what it actually means.
Mm. And as a practitioner or as in service, in your in service role, do you have a preference to mediumship type reading versus a psychic reading, etc.? Can you categorize where you feel more confident and comfortable?
Of course, like Cynthia says, I have multiple modalities. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things that I can do for my toolbox. There's so many things. But the thing that I really find very comfortable and very healing for a lot of people is when I actually do my psychic work. Because the reason behind that is because when people come to me for a question or they are curious about something within their
Mm,
life, I give them the answer. And they never thought about it that way. And
mhm,
remember, when I give you an answer, it doesn't come from me. It comes from the spirit world.
mhm,
I just connect so well to them, and they're the ones who are doing it. So you
mhm,
ask me a question, I ask, the universe downloads the answer, and then I give it back to you. So I
mhm,
feel very comfortable in doing that. Talking to the dead, I do that a lot. I literally talk to the dead 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But, and again, like I said, I do have many modalities, many talents. But the one that I feel very comfortable and confident with is more of the psychic work. And I guess
mhm,
it's because there's where I started. That was
mm,
day one when I made the decision that I want to be a metaphysician. So I knew very well that that ability was there. I just needed to develop myself, learn, explore, talk to, feel it out, see how to connect. And when
mm,
people go to me, you keep saying that you had to learn. I thought this came naturally. True. But that natural being, I couldn't understand because we live in a world that is a society that we have to learn something or do something. When I totally forgot when I was younger that this is just a natural being. It is a sense. And all I've decided to do is increase my senses to make it better. And when I did that, the psychic abilities became more sharper, more excellent. And the list goes on and on.
mhm,
So being a psychic really, I really enjoy. It's a lot of fun.
mm,
For me,
mm,
great thing.
mm. And at what point in your childhood did it stop being scary to feel your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, all of your clairs were coming in as a child? At what point did that not isolate you?
That is a good question. I would say that when I started feeling comfortable about what was going on, I was about 15, 16, 17. I was at the point of my life at that point going, you know what? I've got to live with this, whatever this is. It's like you going from doctor to doctor, knowing that you have a pain, but you just can't get an answer. And when you finally find the right doctor, you finally get the answer. So during my time period, during that time period, 15, 16, 17, I knew that there was something going on. But as I more and more did research, more and more I learned, when I hit about 16, 17, I went, aha, this is what it is. This is
Mm,
what's going on with it.
mhm,
And
mhm,
it took a lot of time learning and exploring and trying to find an answer. I couldn't find the answer. And when I spoke to people at that time period of my life, they thought I was crazy. I come from a
mhm,
city that is the Bible Belt of the United States.
mm,
That city alone has over 240 different types of religions. So when you come out and say this is what you're seeing, people are like, get away from me. And that was my answer. But I knew very well that there was more to that answer of this is not what's going on. So
mm,
as I did my exploration and did my learning, so I was about 15, 16, 17. This is when I finally accepted this is my gift. This is what's going on with me. and this is what I'm going to work with. And once I made that decision at that time period of my life, all of a sudden the floodgates came open in so many ways. And that's
Mm,
when I really embraced what this was and how it is and why it's happening. So
mm.
it took some elbow work, and it took some ingenuity, and it took some committed seeking information in order for me to get to that point at that time.
Acceptance. That's a big
Acceptance.
one. That is the beginning to everything, from
Correct.
acceptance to every situation. Is your family still prevalent in your life, or what do your parents think about your path at this point?
Yes and no. My parents crossed over in 1997. Both of them did.
Mm.
They died 6 weeks apart. Now,
Oh.
my father knew my talent, and my mother knew my talent. But my mother always told me, keep the secret between us and do not tell your brothers and sisters. Now,
Mhm.
when they crossed over in 1997, in 98, I decided I'm going to tell them, my brothers and sisters. It was frowned upon. And it was so funny because when I said something to them in 98, I was okay with whatever the outcome and the answer was. I
Mm.
wasn't seeking, I wasn't seeking their approval. I was just making them aware.
Mhm.
And what they said, how they said it, they shied away. So they did for about until about 2001, 2002. And then all of a sudden they came back and now they want readings. And they're studying and they did that. So from 2002 on, they decided this is what it's about and this is what's going on. Now, the reason why they're going that way, because they're noticing that their kids and their
Mhm.
grandkids have the
Mm.
gift too.
Mm.
I am learning that this is generational.
Mm.
My grandfather on my mom's side was gifted. My mom was gifted. I'm gifted. I have a niece that's gifted. I have a great nephew that's gifted. And I have a great niece who's gifted. So
Mm.
these people are coming around me and they want to know the ins and outs and the rights and wrongs and what do we do? How do we do it? It's gotten to the point where we're actually doing a Zoom chat on once every 2 weeks and we discuss this. So I'm helping relatives to understand. And it's so funny because I also have cousins who are literally calling me up and say, can I have a reading with you? Can I set up a reading with you? So a lot of people are starting to embrace it. At first, it was like, no. But now as time progresses, as they see the action and the reaction to a lot of people, it's now becoming more and more. I am the reader for the family.
Mhm.
And the family started to come towards me. And I'm okay with it. And like I said, when I told my brothers and sisters, this is what I am, they really did. They ran away saying, I don't want to talk to you. But I was okay. I
Mm.
was going to accept the answer, whatever, which direction they
Mm.
wanted to go. Again, I said it not for their approval. I said it
Mhm.
because this is what I am. And if they accept it, fine. If they didn't, fine. I was okay. But now they're coming back. I'm now their readers. I'm now the family reader. I'm now the person that knows the information. And their kids are calling me up saying I want a reading. And their grandkids are calling me up. Even my sister, one of my oldest sister and an oldest brother, they're, hey, can I get a reading? I need to know about something. So I'm like,
Mm.
I'm kind of puzzled a little bit. I didn't expect it from them. But now
Mhm.
I'm the family reader, which I think is pretty funny. But the way that I also see it, it was due time. They needed to accept it and do it their way and in their own speed. I couldn't
Mhm.
do something dishonest. I could tell them, and if they decided to go forward, fine. If they didn't, fine. But it took time because they wanted to accept it within themselves. And
Mhm.
once they did that, then everything started moving forward.
Mhm.
So
Wow. And so is providing a reading to folks that are in your generational line, does that feel different?
yes, it
More
does.
connected? Okay.
Yes, it does. It feels more connected because they feel more accepted with what's going on. I do deal with very young people. I have a lot of young people coming to me between the ages of 19 to 23. I
Mm.
have 30-year-olds who are coming to me, but they're more questioning why. Then I have the 40, 50-year-olds who have accepted it and they know that there's something out there. The
Mm.
60 and 70-year-olds who come to me, they're going like, we already know the answer. We're just validating. and making
Mm,
sure we understand what's going on. And it's all races, all types of people. I have clients in Dubai. I have clients in the Philippines. I have clients in Colombia, New Mexico. I have clients in Canada. I have one client in Russia. I have one client in Japan, one in Taiwan. I have one client in Brazil. So a lot of people from around the world are coming and seeking my information.
wow. Very cool.
Hmm.
Can we talk about your business and where you believe you'll be taking beyond your readings? I've referred quite a few people to you who I now know are a part of your or
Yes,
your
that's true.
education program. I'd like to know how that's going since you revamped it and relaunched it.
Yes, I am the owner to a company called Finding Your Life Path Company. I started this company about 25 years ago. I was doing a part-time job, then I went full-time. I am the owner to the Austin Metaphysical Academy. It is a school that actually certifies, creates bachelor's and associate's degrees for people who are seeking this information in that level. We teach about 248 classes, but we teach about an average about 60 to 70 classes per year. And it is a year-round school. We teach every modality we can think of. Yes, we do have some instructors. I got about three instructors that actually teach along with myself. Then the reason I created the school, when I was trying to find a bachelor's degree out there for this arena, I couldn't find one. So I said, we have to correct that problem. Now, I do own a bachelor's in metaphysical science from the University of Sedona, and I'm also an ordained rep. My business is growing, and it's really growing in leaps and bounds now because now people are coming and seeking for more information what they need. I have started a second school, and that's the Texas Curanderismo, which basically means it's spiritual value. Because I'm noticing that there's two types of people out there that are seeking the information. One who wants to know just basic information, which the Austin Metaphysical Academy takes care of, and the other one is the Texas School of Curanderismo. This is more of a healing modality. People want to know how to heal the hurt, the pain, the leg pain, the head pain, or maybe the spiritual pain. So I've decided to divide the schools into two. And it's very fascinating and it's very popular. So people are seeking that information. And because of that, my business is growing. Yes, in the future, we do have a YouTube channel that we're coming through because we're going to be doing some of the instructions there. We're also going to be doing podcasts. We have a magazine that's going to be established in July. So I'm going to need some article writers. So we will be doing that also. I have increased my events. So I'm technically doing at least one major event per month, but it looks like it's going to go up to two events per month. I am a reader at Nature's Treasures, and I'm doing very good there, and that popularity is growing. And I also do readings at home. I do tarot card readings along with psychic readings and also mediumship. And I am a mentor. So I do have people who call me up and say, can you mentor me on a certain subject? Or can you mentor me for this? Like right now, I'm working with a man who lives in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, I am mentoring him to be a reverend. So we're going through the steps and the process of how to do that. So there's a lot of education that I could get. Mentoring is really one of the fascinating things, and people are coming after me because they want a specific thing. They don't want a full blown stuff. So we do a lot of mentoring here, a lot of molding. I do a lot of coaching also in the physics. Some people have the skills and the talent already. They just need that little boost, or they just need that little information in order for them to take that leap of faith. I do help people also to build their metaphysical business. So if you ever decide to do this as a business and grow from it and learn, and maybe you want to be a practitioner, a practicing practitioner, or want to have your own store, you want to have your own healing center, I can help you to actually do that in the long run in the future. Yes, one of my future projects that I'm doing, and I started this about a year and a half, I am developing the Austin Metaphysical Center. So we are going to be establishing an actual building that people can actually come, unite, and come together of any of these sources that you will need. I started the project about a year and a half. The layout is there. The business plan has been put together. I am now starting to shop for a building or something along that way. So that is starting to happen. Contribution and funding is also starting to be established. So it looks like it's moving forward. So I'm very happy about that. It'll be a location and center that if you're a practitioner, you need some resources, you need some help. Maybe you want to teach a class. Maybe you need a place and location that you want to do readings. Then you will have a center that you can come and do that work publicly, safely, and you will have a great time. We're going to have drumming circles. We're going to have Reiki master classes. We're going to have spiritual classes. We're going to help readers to get a location so they can do readings. We're going to have a shop that's going to actually have unique products in there, things you can't find. Like one of the problems that people have, they can't find orange candles. We're going to have orange candles that you can actually purchase. So there's a lot of great, exciting things that are happening, and I look forward to that project. So this is why I'm working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's a
Mhm.
little secret that I'm giving to people. So shh, don't tell nobody. But I'm looking forward to a lot of great things that are going to happen moving forward. And I'm developing. And if you want to jump in at some point, please let me know. We're looking for all
Mhm.
kinds of people.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like in this space, I'm doing a handful of these podcasts so far. Each of us have found our path or our contribution and how we decide that we're going to show up into this world. I connect with everything you're saying. We're all just seeking connection, safe container, purified, healthy energy to be around. We want to vibrate at this frequency. It just, I think so many people can resonate with seeking a place that represents all those things for them, even if it's just for a reset.
Sure.
So I celebrate you. I'll be part of your community. And as
Yes.
I manifest my own type of community, you will always be the first on the list to join. Before we come to a close, I'd like to ask if there's anything else you'd like to share. I could go on for actually hours, but I
Yes.
want to be conscious of your time. So
No
anything else,
problems at all.
Ricardo?
First of all, thank you very much, Cynthia, for this opportunity. And if you see something in the future, please do let me know. Now, as
Mhm.
for your audience, thank you for joining us. This is really good information for all of us. And the best thing that I can inform everybody at this time, it took me a while to really accept of my gift. Do not be afraid of it. You are
Mm,
given this gift for a reason. It is your job to seek it and try to find it and really try to mature from it. Yes, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to look at you in a different way, but do not listen to them. Listen to your God, to your deity, to your person that's actually helping you to create and mold yourself to become bigger, better, and stronger. I've
mm,
learned that it's well worth it from beginning to end. And yes,
mhm,
it took me a while to get here, but I really do appreciate all the gifts, all the talents, all the people that have helped me, all the mentors. It is well worth the time, effort, and energy. So don't be
mhm,
afraid. You are among us. We accept you for who you are and what you're about, and you're going the right direction. It is scary, Fury, to take that first step, that leap of faith. It really is. And I do understand that. But once you cross that path, once you cross that threshold, once you accept what you have and the gifts that you have and move forward, it is the best decision you've ever made in your life. That is the
mm,
greatest message that I can give to your audience.
mm. That was a beautiful example of a channeled message from Ricardo. Thank you for sharing that, Ricardo.
No
And
problems
I
at all.
received that message. Thank
Good,
you.
good. I'm
Yes.
glad. Move forward,
Yeah.
everybody. Move forward.
That's all we got to do. Little baby
Well, we-
steps is all it takes. Yep.
yep, that's all we could do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to the audience, anyone who's established the time to listen to this. And I encourage you to reach out to Ricardo. I will provide all of his contact information as well as his website. If you've never done a reading, I would strongly encourage you to try your first one with Ricardo. You won't regret it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Ricardo,
No
and
problems at
we'll
all.
we'll see
We'll
you
see you
next time.
around. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye-bye.